The Bitcoin Bollinger Bands are squeezing together here, and it seems like Bitcoin is about to initiate a major short squeeze here. So that's exactly what we need to discuss within today's update video, but we will discuss a lot more than only that. We will take a deep dive into the most important Bitcoin charts, the latest news in the market here, and we will also take a deep dive into both Ethereum and a little bit of altcoins. So from there, guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube video, and then we can dive into the most important content. Since those Bollinger Bands are squeezing together quite hard here, we are seeing the biggest momentum squeeze on the Bollinger Bands since 2024, since the start of 2024. And after we saw exactly that squeeze, we saw a major move getting initiated to the top side, where Bitcoin was also trading above the midline of those Bollinger Bands, and then we broke above the top line, and from there we saw a major move to the top side. So things are starting to look quite interesting here, because also we have a lot of liquidity stacking above us. At that 111,000 US dollar level, we have an insane amount of liquidity stacking up here. So once that major Bitcoin move is about to get initiated from those Bollinger Bands here, we are probably about to see a major short squeeze. But 111,000 US dollar level is also going to be a major resistance, but once we are going to break that level, I'm expecting a big Bitcoin move higher, and that would make a lot of sense, because Bitcoin will be following the money. Bitcoin will be following the global liquidity once again to the top side. It does both to the downside, but now to the top side, and now we are basically trading in this major expansion phase. So that is looking super bullish for Bitcoin there, and this is still the most important consolidation pattern for Bitcoin. As long as we don't break above this resistance, it will stay resistance until proven otherwise. Currently we're trading below it once again. I do think once we do break through the resistance of the top side of this bull flag, I'm expecting that last and final big Bitcoin move to the top side. I do think this is the most important consolidation pattern. You can also draw it a little bit differently, like a bullish pennant, for example. And yeah, both are just very bullish continuation patterns for Bitcoin. So yes, most Bitcoin charts are currently telling us that yes, that next Bitcoin move higher is getting very close here. Also, next week is going to be super important for the crypto market in general, because next week we are going to see a new vote about both the Clarity Act and the Genius Act, both very important crypto regulation laws. So that's going to be quite interesting. We do already have a very high chance that the Genius Act will be signed into law in 2025. But for example, for the Clarity Act, it's still much lower here. So I do think both these crypto regulation bills are quite bullish for the ecosystem in general. So it's going to be quite an important week in that perspective. Also, on July the 9th, the Senate will debate whether tokens like XRP and a few other tokens do qualify as digital commodities. I'm not expecting a clear breakthrough there, but they will be discussing it. So yeah, most people are currently missing this, but it's probably going to be a massive event, definitely if we are going to hear something bullish for altcoins. Also, the Invest America Act just passed Congress. Every child born in the Trump term will get a 1K S&P 500 starter account. Probably it's going to be possible to liquidate the account and, for example, buy crypto with it. So also a quite interesting piece of law going to Congress there. And guys, if you want to be trading Bitcoin and altcoins yourself, make sure to do it on Bluefin. I've linked this platform below under my latest YouTube videos. Make sure to check Bluefin out if you are getting interested in trading Bitcoin and altcoins yourself here. And then I do want to discuss Ethereum, because Ethereum is looking quite good. We saw a major fake out to the top side, then a fake out to the downside, and now we are back trading in this major accumulation range. As long as we don't break outside of this accumulation range, the price action will probably stay very boring here. Once we break this resistance line, which I do think could be happening quite fast here, from there I'm expecting that next Ethereum move higher to, for example, the 3,000 US dollar level. I do think this is the most important accumulation range for Ethereum, just like Bitcoin has with this bull flag over here. So yes, the markets are still quite boring, but once we're going to see the breakout, I do think it will be a massive one out of this massive range here. And if you take a look into the on-chain data, the on-chain data is showing us that yes, that Ethereum ecosystem is actually coiling up here. Basically all the top monthly inflows, so stablecoin inflows, bridged inflows, everything is flowing in towards Ethereum and the layer 2s. So that is looking quite insane, much more than Solana, for example. It's not even comparable, basically. So the ecosystem is actually coiling up, and I do think that this will result in higher prices in the near future for Ethereum too. And we also have the institutional accumulation of Ethereum going absolutely parabolic. If you, for example, take a look into towards the on-chain holdings of BlackRock, it's absolutely insane how much they've been accumulating in like the last 2 to 3 months. They have a market share of over 40% now. But yeah, also all these other big institutions are accumulating lots of ETH lately. But yeah, BlackRock is definitely the biggest buyer. And this is simply a super bullish trend for Ethereum. And not only on those total ETF flows, we are seeing a lot of institutional inflow. That the total strategic ETH reserve currently values over $3 billion US, with a lot of major companies buying lots of Ethereum for their reserves. So yes, it seems like Ethereum is currently doing exactly what Bitcoin did at the start, where we saw those big inflows, and then we saw a lot of institutional accumulation through private and public companies here. And exactly that is also happening for Ethereum now. And Ethereum is currently holding quite strong above the moving average 200 here. As long as we are going to do so, I'm expecting a major continuation to the range high, because that's exactly what happened 2 times before in this major accumulation, reaccumulation range. Basically, we broke above the 200 moving average line. There we saw a lot of consolidation, of course, but ultimately we did stay trading above it, and from there we saw that major push to the upside to the range high. That's also exactly what happened in this move here. We broke above the 200 and daily moving average. There we saw consolidation, even downwards price action, and from there we saw that major move high for Ethereum. So if you're going to stay trading above that 200 and daily moving average here, I'm expecting once again a big Ethereum move higher towards the range high, which is almost a 2x trade from here. So that is definitely absolutely insane. We are now moving outside of this Bitcoin season territory here for the altcoin season index, so that's actually looking quite bullish. I do think the altcoin season index did bottom in June here, because that's what most of the times happens, and from there we are going to see probably a push higher for altcoins from here. So I'm still quite bullish, definitely on altcoins within the Ethereum ecosystem, because that's the ecosystem where the most growth is currently happening. But yeah, it's starting to look quite good for altcoins, and I'm still bullish on altcoin season here. And guys, that was it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's update video, and I will see you guys within the next update video tomorrow.